Hello YouTube, welcome back to the conservatory. Now if you watched the video where we were trying to get the little CV1 running, you'll notice I mentioned about how much easier life is if you've got an auxiliary fuel tank. And there will be times when you need to work on the carbs, for instance balancing the carbs, or in the case of the little CV1 trying to get it running, but you don't want the standard tank in the way. Now we've all been in situations where you tried to work on the carbs, getting fuel there, and you've had the fuel tank balanced really precariously on the back of the bike, just waiting to fall off and dent itself. So an auxiliary fuel tank will replace the normal fuel tank, and it's just nice and small, and you can hang it off the handlebars or off the rafters of your garage, somewhere out of the way. Now you can buy these. If you have a quick look online, you can get something like this. And these are going to normally cost you about 25 to 30 pounds, which, I don't know, seems quite a lot of money really for a plastic bottle and a bit of hose. So I thought I'd see if I could do one on the cheap, and this is what I've come up with. So, got an aluminium drinks bottle, courtesy of the pound shop, which costs, surprise surprise, £1. A couple of copper washers, an old nut, and an old 8mm bolt. Now the trickiest part of this is to actually drill the bolt out, and you actually want to drill a 4mm hole all the way through it. Now you can do it by hand, clamp it in the vise, and drill it with a normal drill. Just take your time and make sure you get it central. I did actually do this by hand, but obviously if you've got access to a pillar drill, or even better a lathe, it makes life a lot easier. So you have your drilled out bolt, M8 bolt, length of fuel hose, a couple of Jubilee clips, and one of these cheapy £1.50 universal filters with the 6 and 8mm barbs on. The other thing you need, but which hasn't turned up yet, ideally you want an 8mm inline fuel tap, the sort of thing that's fitted to pit bikes or lawn mowers. But as you'll see, you can still use these tanks without the inline fuel tap, but I really don't recommend it. I'll show you how to get around it. If you do so, then be very careful, because there is a huge likelihood of you ending up getting petrol everywhere, which is the last thing you want. So let's take our £1 aluminium drinks bottle. We need to drill an 8mm hole in the bottom. So out comes the drill. And I'm using one of these stepped drills. I really like these, they make life so much easier. And you want to get the hole roughly central, doesn't really matter. We just need to clean out the burrs inside. Now if we're lucky, I can get this just to fit in the socket. Typically the last one I chose. And then we can just run it around inside and just clean out the burrs. There we are, that's got it. So we've got a nice clean 8mm hole in the bottom of the tank. Now take your drilled bolt, sit it in a long extension and fit the first of the 8mm washers. And again, just like we had fun and games trying to use the drill, you want to feed the bolt hole up through the hole in the bottom of the drinks bottle. Add the other copper washer. There's the nut. Tighten it all down. Now it is only a 4mm hole in the bolt, so it's not going to allow a huge amount of fuel flow, but really you're only going to be using it with the bike on, sort of tick over, maybe the odd little rare occasion where you will give it a bit of throttle, but you'll still get enough fuel through. Now that we've got the bolt on, we can feed our fuel hose on, stick the circlip on, and clamp the hose into place. As I said, at this point we would normally cut the fuel hose, about that far from the end, and insert the inline fuel tap here, but unfortunately I haven't got one. Fuel filter, this is great. This acts as your adapter to fit the actual remote tank into the existing fuel hose on the bike. And the other thing is, when you fit these, make sure you get them the right way round. There is actually a little arrow stamped on the filter showing the direction of flow. So, there we have plenty of hose. In fact, there's probably a bit more than you need, but that's what I had. And then the final thing we need to do is drill a breather hole in the cap. Again, 4mm drill bit, and just drill a little vent hole in the top of the cap. And then finally, a bit of string. And tie it round. So, I'm going to show you how to use it without the inline tap, if you really want to. Like I said, I really don't recommend this, but it's a kind of get out of trouble. So, I'm just going to move the pit bike round a bit. So, hopefully that is now in shot. And here is our fuel hose that goes from the tank down to the carbs. So take your bottle and you can hang it from the handlebars, but make sure that the bottle is lower than the carb. You can then connect up the filter. Unscrew the lid, pour your petrol in, only sort of half or 2/3 fill the bottle, screw the lid back on, and then once you're happy that everything is connected, you can raise the bottle up and retie it. And again, when you come to disconnect it, make sure the bottle is lower than the carb, so any petrol will run back down from the fuel pipe into the bottle, and then you can disconnect it. What I like to do is just feed the filter through the loop in the string, and then hold it like that, again making sure the filter is above the level. You shouldn't get any spillages, but like I said, if you can get hold of a fuel tap, for the extra couple of pounds it's going to cost, it just makes it so much easier and safer to use. So there we have it. One cheap and cheerful, very handy little auxiliary tank. Total cost should be less than £10 by the time you bought the bottle, the hose and the filter. So I hope you find that useful. Good luck with it, and like I said, do be very, very careful if you're going to use one of these without an inline tap. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.